villain being awful, Adam Sandler is always highlighted as being incredibly kind. Take for example the time he was refused a table at IHOP after the server failed to realize it was Adam Sandler asking. Embarrassed, the server shared the CCTV to TikTok, prompting Adam Sandler to meet with the waitress personally while joking about the rejection by stating, "For the record, I only left the IHOP because the nice woman told me the all-you-can-eat deal didn't apply to the milkshakes," although fans were impressed for a slightly different reason. It's very humble of him to not assert that he's a celebrity and ask for special treatment. He acted just like a regular customer and didn't challenge anyone. I respect him for that, with his humble attitude extending to wedding photo bombs and that time he randomly appeared for some chicken.
Alright guys, no way. No way, you're joking.
He filmed a good chunk of Mr. Deeds in my hometown, and he was simply the nicest man ever. He would come out to sign autographs after a full 14-plus hour day of shooting. Didn't matter how long the line was, he made sure every single person got to say hello. He had time for photographs and chats with everyone in town, frequented all the local coffee shops and posed with employees. He seemed to really care and know how excited we all were to have a movie happening and always had a smile, although Adam's fans are the only people to talk very highly of him.
You guys love each other. Is that fair to say?
For sure.
Yeah. I hear each of you individually talking about the in such fond terminology.
Yeah.
After Pete Davidson worked with Adam Sandler on Saturday Night Live, Pete went on to state he's just such a cool, nice guy. I can't explain how wonderful of a person he is. Just like caring and sweet and not full of crap, which is very important. Although Adam Sandler's happy on-screen mood clearly extends to his personal life, Mike Myers from Austin Powers is apparently much different when the cameras aren't rolling. Twitter users Myers as an absolute nightmare to work with. The article referred to a tweet reading, "Mike Myers had me fired off the set of The Love Guru because I made eye contact with him and I was there as his bodyguard." The tweet had been posted by a person named Jay Brody, who then expanded on the incident in a podcast.
You'll be basically guarding Mike Myers' trailer. They're like, "Here's the cat. You can't look at it." But I realized I can't let just anyone into the trailer. So I look up, I catch his eye for a second. I give him a nod to let him know I'm cool, and then I look away, and within an hour I get a phone call letting me know that I'm fired and I have to get off set.
Prompting others to give their own anecdotes about his terrible attitude. I was an extra in Love Guru and remember being told we can't make eye contact with Mike. When I tell people this, they don't believe me. Thanks for confirming. People always wonder why there weren't more Austin Powers movies, but never realize how many stories there are like this about him. Basically, no one wants to work with the guy, with one of these other stories coming from the set of The Cat in the Hat, where Mike's co-star Hill stated his area was all covered with fencing because he didn't want anybody seeing him. It was so weird, it was just the worst. I was miserable. Hill also revealed how Diva Myers selfishly kept everyone waiting for hours, overruled the director, and even had someone standing by, just holding his personal chocolates in a dish. It was just a horrible, nightmarish experience, although people have only ever said the opposite about Steve Buscemi. Buscemi worked as a New York firefighter before quitting to pursue acting, although when the Twin Towers were destroyed on September 11, Buscemi walked into his old fire department to volunteer, working 12 hours a day for a week straight in the hopes of finding survivors. He called his old firehouse, then receiving no reply, headed to the site, where he found his former engine company. I asked if I could join them, he said, adding I could tell they were a little suspicious at first. I worked with them that day. It was a privilege to be able to do it. It was great to connect with the firehouse I used to work with, and with some of the guys I worked alongside. Note, this was in 2001 after he was already extremely famous from movies such as Fargo, yet according to an independent article on his volunteering, very few photographs and no interviews exist because he declined them. He wasn't there for publicity. Wouldn't you think you were hallucinating if Steve Buscemi helped you out of the rubble? What a great humble guy, with a Reddit comment then offering a slightly more personal story. I used to serve him all the time and he never once was a diva. Always had a smile on his face, and I mean I don't even think he once had a complicated order. He always ordered the most simple thing on the menu and always tipped 20+%, not to mention Buscemi gets extra credit for being close friends with Adam Sandler. However, it seems Jerry Seinfeld was left out of the party, given every clip of him I've seen outside of his shows is just him being an unlikable douche with an ego the size of a small country. This sentiment began with a Larry King interview from 2007.
I went off the air as the #1 show on television, Larry.
Do you
know who I am? 75 million viewers. Last episode.
Boy, don't take it so bad.
Well, that's the big difference between being canceled and being number one.
Okay, I'm sorry. Beating movie
A
opens.
resume in here for
Beating
me.
movie opens
That I can go
tomorrow.
over.
Although this attitude extends into other moments like the time he rejected Kesha.
Oh, thanks. No, thanks. No, thanks. Yeah, no, thanks. I don't know who that was.
Yeah, it's Kesha.
Okay.
Jerry then offered no apology for rejecting her.
I don't hug a total stranger. I have to meet someone, say hello. I need to know, who are you?
No,
And she
really.
was very nice about it. Relax.
Did you hug her after?
No.
Leading Kesha to change her mind about him for pretty obvious reasons.
What happened with Jerry Seinfeld?
Oh my god. Are you friends with him?
I am not.
Okay, we're good. It was like the saddest moment of my life.
Jerry also has a reputation for destroying the paparazzi.
The workplace like the bomb. I'm sure comics go through all the time.
Another very weak question.
And after Lady Gaga was moved to his luxury basketball box for acting rudely at a game, he had this to say.
This woman's a jerk. I hate her. I can't believe they put her in my box. I paid for it. You give people the finger and you get upgraded? Is that the world we're living in now?
It's terrible. I love it.
Jerry Seinfeld's meanness definitely has a charisma to it. However, if you're wanting a more humble type of charisma, then we have to talk about Post Malone. With entire compilations dedicated to him treating other people kindly, there are almost many wholesome moments to choose from.
You got this? This is awesome.
There was that time he went out of his way to greet a 21-year-old having his first beer, or that time he gave his $5,000 guitar to a fan after a concert.
It's like a $5,000 guitar, so you have to promise. You gotta promise me that you're gonna take care of it all day.
Post Malone treats paparazzi in the opposite way to Jerry Seinfeld.
Boss, I want you to know that I really like your music. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, definitely. Can you say hello to Nico? Bye, Nico. Love you guys.
And when this fan somehow made it past security, Post Malone hugs the guy and treats him respectfully before he's taken off the stage. In a different instance, Post Malone let a fan come on stage to play the guitar part in Stay, and it's therefore no surprise that fans have told anecdotal stories such as, someone in a similar thread said Post moved into his brother's street and went and introduced himself to all his new neighbors and invited them for a barbecue. Genuinely sounds like an awesome guy. I believe this 100%. He had a party in an Airbnb or something a few houses down from my group's Airbnb, and he legit went around the cul-de-sac himself inviting everyone to the party. He also spent the entire night moving between groups, chatting and generally being a phenomenal host and ensuring everyone had a blast. 10 out of 10 dude. But while nobody has anything negative to say about Post Malone, it seems nobody has anything positive to say about Chevy Chase. Remember when Pete Davidson praised Adam Sandler earlier in the video? Well, Pete had the opposite to say about Chevy Chase, stating, he's a fucking douchebag, I hate that dude. He's just a genuinely bad racist person and I don't like him. Chevy Chase was fired from Community after calling Donald Glover the N-word, not to mention before the firing, Chase was simply difficult to work with.
He was someone that did not want to be there for the hours that we were keeping. He sometimes would be in not great moods.
This fight with Bill Murray, and while interviewing Robert Downey Jr., Chase stated, didn't your father used to be a successful director? Whatever happened to him? Boy, he sure died, you know, he sure went to hell. It's therefore no surprise that even Will Ferrell stated, the worst host was Chevy Chase. Yet Chevy Chase foolishly claims that all criticism is just jealousy.
Did you just say that writers writing anything negative is jealousy? Yeah. What kind of jealousy? I'm funnier than them? Yeah, I guess maybe. I'm considered good looking? Yeah, there you have it.
It seems Chevy Chase needs a lesson on humility, and who better to teach it than Shaquille O'Neal?
You gotta humble yourself. It's all about humility. And that's why I am where I am now. I humble myself. I don't look down on people because they're lesser.
Back in 2011, Shaq had hit rock bottom. He retired from basketball, divorced from his wife, and had no idea where his life was going next.
I was lost. 76,000 square foot house by yourself. No kids. You go to the gym. Nobody training in the gym. You go to your room. Nobody's there.
It was during this period that Shaq's mom Lucille gave him some advice.
And then the queen, Dr. Lucille O'Neill, said, hey man, I don't know you no more. You need to humble yourself. And when mama talked, the true man listens.
After which Shaq began working on becoming a better person. It stated, the day I killed the narcissist Shaq is the day my kids texted me, hey daddy, I miss you. Bro, when I got one of those texts, man, I actually cried then. I didn't know what to say. After I got that love from them, I said, you know what, I'm not going to be the asshole Shaq no more. Because I was an asshole and I lost everything. The day I released all that me, Shaq, is the day the blessings opened up. As a result, Shaq's been trying to create a fairly unique legacy.
Talk about legacies, I want mine to be one sentence. Shaq was a nice guy.
Which has been aided by his random acts of kindness, purchasing bikes, shoes, and laptops for less fortunate children. It seems the only people Shaq won't give money to are his own kids.
Because I believe in respectable nepotism. You get all A's, it's not so much when you get credit, you know. So he gets all A's, and he's like, go to the dealership and pick on. And I get a call from Tesla. I said, man, you better take your ass across the street behind me.
But while Shaq is an obvious choice as a nice celebrity, someone you might not expect to be rude is Bill Nye, the science guy. I met Bill Nye as a kid and he was the biggest asshole I've ever met. It was a huge letdown after watching his show so often in class. My science teacher from 7th grade told us she had an explanation for why she tried to show us as few Bill Nye videos as possible. I believe she said she attended either a science workshop or an event for teachers where Bill Nye was there, and he was completely rude to her and dismissed her the whole time. Bill's dark side becomes pretty obvious when he debates other scientists. However, it seems he becomes the meanest when talking to his most popular demographic, kids. Bill Nye came to visit my university. I was sorely disappointed. Bill Nye relied on sexist jokes to relate to the crowd. He kept complimenting women's legs and saying weird stuff about how sexy women are. He was trying to be relatable, but was sorely mistaken, as he faced a crowd of driven female engineers and scientists. He went on about climate change and basically insinuated that we could be the policy changers, while the real scientists did the real work. How much my views of him were falling apart as I watched him pander to students he clearly didn't care about. I later heard that he wouldn't speak with students, only professors, with this anecdote following the very common theme of Bill Nye was my hero until I heard him talk. Although thankfully Keanu Reeves is the perfect balance between good and evil. While filming the second two Matrix movies, Keanu Reeves chose to give up $75 million worth of his movie earnings, instead redirecting the money to the special effects team who he said deserved it more. Even then, this might not have been his most charitable act whilst filming, as a Reddit user stated,
Ako parang jeans, boots, whatever. Ako